Hello everyone, what's going on? I'm Gareth, the Master974 back again today, and welcome to another Source Shorts video. And what I'm going to be doing today is talking about how to make certain ammo items and weapons detonate when they take damage. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because about a year and a half ago, I did a Valve source code tutorial follow-up video regarding slams. And one of the things I said there was if you deploy a Sastral charge or a trip mine, then if they take damage, they explode. But if you have a weapon slam, as in the actual weapon that you can use to pick up and get ammo and stuff, then it actually will take 0 damage and you can bash it with the crowbar or stun stick till the cows come home and it won't actually blow up. So what I'm going to cover today is how you can actually make that situation impossible to happen. So stuff like weapon slams can actually take damage and explode. So I'm going to start with a relatively simple example, the AR2 grenade, which is a bit of a misnomer because it's the SMG1 grenade. But what you want to do, quite simply, is inside of the spawn function, as you can see here, I just added m_score take damage equals damage yes, and m_i health equals 15. Now this m_i health is completely arbitrary. You can select whatever value you want or tie it to a convo or something. But the crucial thing is this m_score take damage equals damage yes line. This means that this entity does receive damage, which means it has health, and once the health runs out, it calls the event killed function. Now the thing is, under normal circumstances, the event killed function is undefined, so it would just disappear and not do anything special. I might show video footage of that, I might not. But what you want to do is add void event killed, passing through an input of a const c take damage info called andinfo. And again, this part is also kind of arbitrary. You can do what you want here. But what I decided to do is set m_score take damage to damage no, which means this no longer takes damage because it's been killed. But then do a screen shake with an amplitude of 25 at the origin of this item, SMG1 grenade. So yeah, amplitude of 25, frequency 150, 1 second duration, 750 unit radius, and shake start. And then explosion create at the origin of the SMG1 grenade, but displaced in the Z by 16 units. Again, that's arbitrary. With the angles of get abs angles, the owner is null. Then give it a magnitude of 50 and a radius of 200. Spawn flags of no sparks, no D-lights, and no smoke. And then explosion force is 0 and the inflictor is this. And then of course the final thing, util remove of this, so you don't actually keep the SMG1 grenade around when you don't need to. But that's kind of the crux of what you need to do. It's in the spawn function, add m_score take damage equals damage yes. Set a health of whatever you want, and then void event killed, passing through a const c take damage info and info input, and then whatever you want to cause an explosion or whatever. So if I were to go to the slam, for example, then in the spawn function, again, set m_score take damage equals damage yes, and m_i health equals 15. But in this case, you need to go to weaponslam.h to add void event killed of const c take damage info and info. And then somewhere in the code is going to be the event killed function. You can pretty much see I did the exact same thing as I did with the SMG1 grenade. And the same sort of thing can happen to the frag grenade as well. Again, add void event killed, const c take damage info and info. And then in the weaponfrag.cpp code, there should be the spawn function somewhere. If it's not defined, then you can just define it like so. Base class : spawn. m_score take damage equals damage yes. Health, this time I set it to 20. And then event killed, pretty much the same thing as you've already seen. But there's a couple of interesting examples that you can also do. For example, with the Molotov. If you decide to add the Molotov into your mod, of course. Again, header file, add void event killed. Don't need to go over all of that again. But this time in the spawn function, you can just do the same, m_score take damage equals damage yes, m_i health equals whatever you want stuff. But then in event killed, I say here that most of the code was taken from grenade_molotov.cpp, and that's because it was the detonate code, but the only difference being that we add m_score take damage equals damage no at the top, And then everything related to the grenade exploding stuff and creating fires, then that is executed in the event killed function, and then util remove this at the very end. Of course, when doing something like this, I should have mentioned this earlier, sorry, but in the case of the Molotov, fire system start fire and explosion create will be seen as errors because the functions aren't defined. So you need to go to the top of the file and you want to add #include fire.h in the case of the Molotov. But for every other weapon I've talked about so far, #include explodes.h. So for example, item ammo, if I go to the top, #include explode.h, weapon slam.cpp, go to the top of the file, #include explode.h, weapon frag.cpp, go to the top of the file, #include explode.h. So that's something that you need to do. And another interesting example is the fire extinguisher, if you choose to add that, because the ability for the fire extinguisher to explode when it takes damage is already included in the base functionality. But the thing that was pointed out to me in private messages by Mazdo was if you have a weapon drop system, then you basically won't be able to destroy the fire extinguisher because m_take damage is not reset back to damage yes. So in that case, if you have a weapon drop system, you want to set m_take damage equals damage yes. So again, for something like the weapon frag, if we go down, go to the drop function, you can see m_take damage equals damage yes. For something like the slam, in the drop function, again, m_take damage equals damage yes. For the Molotov, if I find the drop function, you see the same thing there, m_take damage equals damage yes. So that's what you'd want to do if you have a weapon drop system and you still want explosive weapons and ammo to take damage. So that's pretty much all I need to say. You might see some stuff here regarding decrement ammo. That would be more for the weapon drop tutorial, and especially for stuff like the frag grenades and the fire extinguisher and stuff to that effect. But I'm not going to talk about it here. This video has probably gone on long enough. But if you want to have explosive weapons and explosive ammo, then that's basically what you need to do. So let me know what you think about this video, and I think when this video goes live, I'll update my GitHub code at long last. So hopefully you'll check that out and let me know what you think and if there's any issues or not. But yes, take care out there, peace out, see you later. Hope to see you again for another video very soon, and have a great day.